Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce ChamberCast, right? Hey, all right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Just quick note, we're going to go around the room in a minute. I'm going to a couple quick intros. I want to thank Ralph Zucker and his team at Bellworks. They're doing incredible things. They're up in Chicago and Fort Monmouth. It's really just amazing things, all the fantastic companies that are here. So it's great that everyone's here today. I want to thank Ming from Shared Universe Podcast for all the great things that you do and you've done. The famous Comic-Con guy, right, Ming? He's everywhere. He's everywhere. There's a lot of hats. And, so today you're going to be left with really great messages. Today's the day. Live it. And sometimes we need a reminder, right? Sometimes we need a hook and an understanding, but really, sometimes it's really just very simple. I think we complicate things sometimes when you just don't need to. And so today is going to be a great day. We're going to leave with actionable information for you, your business, and your families. And we'll look forward to jumping right in. So I want to thank the sponsors of ChamberCast right behind us. See all these fantastic companies. I said Brookdale Community College, Bill Dinker's Pickleball, Seniors Helping Seniors, Two River Technology, Keller Williams, Central Monmouth, Vigilant Property Group, Mark's in the house, Mazda Recycling, Stillwell Hanson, Carol Stillwell, we love Carol, Gelman Images, Senior Helpers. We also have Dave and Buster's and Jeannie Wall. Tap Into Media.
Netflix.
I saw that big N in the middle and I go, is that actually? Yes, Netflix. No, we love Netflix. So welcome and thank you to the sponsors. So today's the day, live it, right? That's our message today. We're going to talk about turning challenges into choices, change, connections, the power of writing, and also the courage to just make the first move. The 20 guests, our lineup, will share each how it transformed their lives and by making a simple change. That's why keep it simple, right? Jodi Hope Grinwald translates human connection into measurable organizational outcomes. A leadership and connection strategist, creator of Connection is the Work. Jodi helps leaders and organizations build the trust that strengthens teams, deepens client relationships, and drives measurable results as well. She's the founder and CEO of Today's the Day, LLC. There's a book we're going to be talking about as well, and founder of the International Changemakers Forum and co-founder and CEO of the Zach G. Applaud Our Kids Foundation. I'm saying that right?
We have two Z's. Thank you.
She's also the host. We have podcast leaders here too, so I hope you grade me on a curve. I just thought that was that way. Jodi is also the host of Today's the Day Changemakers podcast, which is heard in more than 135 countries. I'm working on maybe we can get 2. I'm in 1 now. So congratulations. Terese Rolke. We all know Terese. Welcome. Full circle, as she said. Yeah. Terese grew up in Brooklyn, and I was at the Barclays Center trying to find a spot waiting for the concert to end the other day. She built her career working at American Express. Terese has successfully served in many leadership roles, and recently as the executive director of the Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce. She's passionate about connecting people and businesses. Terese has a talent for elevating others, as we know, to shine a light on their talents and success. She's going to share her experience of deep commitment to service, which we all know, and the new chapter that she is writing, which is very cool. So today is the day for that.
Today is the day.
Devi Chauhan, am I saying that correct? All right, first time and I doubt it. Writer, educator, and co-founder, executive director of Project Write. You're going to want to really remember that name. It's a 501c3 nonprofit transforming lives through the power of writing. You also hear about journaling, writing it down, time management, the physical, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about the connection, mental and physical connection of touching, putting things on paper, or a capacitive pen, right, with an apple, right? So since 2014, she led the organization's growth into a trusted partner for nearly 100 schools, and as a former board member and president. Say that?
Schools and organizations.
Schools and organizations. Okay. Yeah, that's here. And you're ahead of me. Creative supporting writing communities that have helped thousands of youth and adults discover their voices, strengthen their well-being, and, as we're doing today, sharing their stories. So let's kick it off a little bit. Jodi, if you don't mind, I'll start with welcome. You want to say hello to the group?
Hello, everybody.
Oh, man.
Introductions first.
The big boss. All right. Jeannie, please, thanks. Bill, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Go around the room.
Stephen Hoffner with Dill Dinker's Pickleball in Freehold, New Jersey.
Yay.
Welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stacy Penasiti with DLA Promotions, swag that saves lives.
Jen Wood, Development Associate, AMIB, Association for the Multiple Impaired Blind. We have 18 residential houses throughout Monmouth and Ocean County. We serve people that are fully blind, partially blind, and have disabilities.
Hi, Dr. Philip Bagrio, self-sabotage expert.
Hi, I'm Dina Glenn. I'm the Director of Business Development for Brandywine Assisted Living. We have memory care and assisted living.
My name is Lane. I work with Certified Financial Services.
Gary Gelman, Gelman Images, full-service photography, video production, and drone, serving Monmouth County for 37 years.
Thank you, and thank you to Gary for the cookies today.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes, the cookie man. Woo!
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eduardo Morales. I run D1 Training Middletown. It's where we help people find the best version of themselves.
Thank you. You're going to get us all in shape, right?
Before I give my intro, I want to give some applause to D1. My kids and her friends, they go there, and my daughter never had any inclination towards activities, and she had allergic reactions. Devon had brought such a amazing confidence that she can do. Imagine a high schooler not able to go to gym, but my daughter does gym now. I really appreciate all the effort. And about me, I am Monica Jain. I am a certified senior advisor and a certified dementia practitioner. We help in finding senior living options before crisis arise or at the time of crisis. We are here to assist. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris with Subtle Healing LLC. We have integrative holistic practices for using sound for stress and anxiety management. We do drum circles in downtown Freehold every Friday for free. You're welcome to come.
Good morning, everyone. Gail Bonus. I'm the Chamber Administrator for this great Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to Jeannie and Terrence, of course, every month. Thank you so much for setting up the panel. And I can't wait to hear all about Today is the Day. So thank you and welcome.
Hi, everybody. Tara Kaufman, New York Life. I help people make informed decisions to protect what matters most.
Hi, I'm Ann Wallman. I'm with Brookdale Community College, School of Continuing and Professional Studies, and I help small, large, mid-sized organizations get free training for their staff.
Good morning. My name is Casey Pellegrino. I'm also from Brookdale Community College, and I am the Program Administrator for Business, Career, and Technology Training.
Good morning. My name is Tara Demyanovich. I'm the owner of Outside the Box Gift. It's a gifting service. I shop and package to make extraordinary gifts for all occasions. Tara Demyanovich.
And the baskets are amazing. Did I miss anyone? I'm Jeannie Wall. I publish for Tap Into, Holmdel, Colts Neck, Middletown, Hazlitt, Keyport. Thank you.
Thank you. When I'm not your humble host, I'm a broker with Marsh. They're the largest broker in the world, and our offices are right in Red Bank. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. So I would like to start right on my right with Jodi.
Okay.
And your book. But this is ChamberCast, right? And so I've often said that fantastic things happen through the Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce, and that it's an organization that folks should join and encourage other businesses to join, because there are synergies here, networking, and ripples in the pond, I would call them, from the meeting. And I think that's exactly part of the story, right? That came from a meeting. Can you talk about that and your collaboration with so many different authors for the book?
Absolutely. So back in March of 2025, ChamberCast was hosting a panel of authors. I knew I wanted to be an author. I really didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wasn't ready to write the memoir, and I was going to include other people in the book. Had no idea how I was possibly even going to publish it. So when I saw that ChamberCast was hosting authors, I thought, what a better way to learn a little bit more about the process. Lo and behold, there was, 4 or 5 people on here, and all of them were wonderful, but there was one person, right, because connection, as I say, is the work, one person on the panel that I really connected with. It was just his vibe, right, and he just was approachable. So at the very end, I went up to him. His name is Armin Kamachian, and I chatted with him, and what an incredible conversation, because I sit here now on the same couch he was on, to talk about a book that we published because I had that conversation, multiple conversations after. I didn't know how I was going to publish it. I didn't want it just on Amazon, so I wanted to find out how he went about it so I could get it at Target and Walmart and all the other online retailers. And so he was wonderful, connected me with the right people, and it's just you're just one conversation away from creating incredible things that you never thought were ever possible. And then, for me, that one decision, which is how the book starts, a little bit about my life, and then goes into how I met the most incredible people around the globe through one decision of starting a podcast. That podcast, as you said, now downloaded as of the other day in 141 countries, which is crazy when I say it out loud. It's just nuts. That's how I met some incredible human beings around the globe. And interviewing them, I was talking to my husband about the fact that, I'm not ready for the memoir. I want to involve the changemakers. He's like, well, you have an existing audience of potential authors. And I'm like, I agree. I just need to figure out how to use them. And then it just, lo and behold, went to the day of, and I just want to say this, the day of ChamberCast in March, I went over to Terese and I said, I really want to write this book. Will you be a part of it? Right? Because we were here. And she helped make that happen with everybody else. And we were here, and she said, count me in. That was first thing, was count me in. And then Heather McCullough, who's not here today, she was here, and she's a former journalist. And I said, will you be my editor? All here that day. So one decision to attend. If I almost didn't, to be honest. I'm like, I know. And it's interesting because how many of you have thought about going to an event and then you're like, I don't really feel like going, right? And then you wind up going and having the best time and you meet incredible people. So you're always that one decision away from incredible things.
Well, it's interesting, Terese, you could jump in here because you would say that one person can really change a life, change so much. Can you share that story that you have?
So 2 things I want to say. First of all, Jodi is amazing. She was a recipient of our 2021 Athena Leadership Award, so let's give her a hand for that. And she's an incredible person, so I'm connected to her forever. We met years ago at a chamber breakfast meeting, and we were friends ever since. One thing I want to let everyone know, that ChamberCast event was March of 2025. We launched the book in January of 2026. So it does not take long when you find the right resources and connect to the right people. So I thought that was important to mention.
Thank you.
And you're amazing. Let me tell you, she didn't sleep for that 10 months because I know how hard she worked.
And the next book's coming. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, the next book is coming. So I wanted to say that. So I also, when I was executive director of the Chamber, I retired in December after 6 years of serving. I always said we need to start putting out there on video a hashtag called #MRCC, this is how it works. This is a perfect example of that. So we need to get you on video.
Sure, no problem, anytime.
And the writing process is, it's born out of excitement, it could be cathartic, it could be educational. It's also born out of challenges that we have in life and putting things down and working through things. And whether it's triumph and tragedy, it could be through joy, it could be grief. Can you share your story and how that inspired the work that you're doing?
Oh, absolutely. First, I want to just thank everybody and thank you all for having me here on this couch. This is so exciting. And I've known Jodi for years too, and she's been incredibly inspiring to me because of all the things that she's been able to juggle at the same time. And so for me, where I came into this story, I was very excited when I was invited to be an author of this because I believe so much in this idea that telling our stories is so important. And for me, with the organization that I created, Project Right Now, it is completely about giving every single person, whether you're 7 or 97 plus, opportunities to tell your story. Everyone is a writer. Everyone has a story to tell. And how do we do that? And Jodi, you have given 31 plus authors that opportunity. And we have witnessed at our launch events, at different places that we've been together, just how empowering it is for someone to share their story and be acknowledged for their story and for their life experiences. And yes, it does help you move through so many different aspects of your life: grief, sorrow, joy, love. All of those elements are being able to be captured through writing.
And you reference that grief could be a pathway to reinvention. Can you share?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Project Right Now was created through my own personal grief. I'm a former education journalist. I'm a former high school English teacher. And when my children were very young, I had stepped away from public school teaching. And when I was ready to go back, I found out that my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And it was a terminal diagnosis. And I moved through taking care of her. And then shortly after that, my father passed away. And then shortly after that, I went through a divorce. And so it was a lot of grief stacked upon each other. And for me, I poured all of that grief into words, into pages. It didn't necessarily look like anything. It could be fragments and poetry and all those things. But I felt that being able to channel my words, my feelings, my sorrow into story. And that is what led me to create Project Right Now in memory of my mom, who believed that if you're on, her mantra was, if you're on this planet, make a difference, which speaks to everything that we're all here about today. So I really do believe that, you can find meaning through grief, but through storytelling, through putting your words down.
And thank you for sharing that. And then through this process, you also are working as businesswomen starting companies, right? So you no prior experience with 501c and nonprofits. Can you share that? Because we have folks that run nonprofits that are members of them, and what was that like? Because it's really, it's a whole new frontier. And so starting a business and starting an initiative, it's that first step, right? Or all three of you could share that.
So I worked in nonprofit. I always say I worked for the big box organizations, American Heart, American Lung, Executive Director, Vice President of Development. And when my dad passed away from ALS, my sister and I, he was an opera singer, decided we wanted to start a nonprofit to provide funding to children that would be in need of performing arts education. So after school, we fund them going, dance, acting, singing, instrumental music. They get to choose one. They have to go through a whole application process. And we noticed that my dad, when he was very, very ill, his biggest regret was not being able to be on the stage because he couldn't afford it. And we didn't want another child to go through that. Now, here I am. I worked for, like I said, the big box organizations. There were best practices. There were timelines. Everything was already existing. Here I am, and I'm sure you can understand this as well. Here I am I have to build it. The interesting part, though, for those of us who start our own organizations, whether you're a nonprofit or for-profit, is the respect and I believe the bravery is different, the way people perceive it, than when you say you're working as a VP of some very big organization. Meanwhile, you take the brave step to help somebody in the community to make a difference, or even to start your own company, and the person you're talking to may not see it the same way they saw it. And that's what happened to me when I started, my sister and I started the Applauder Kids Foundation. And like I said, we fund kids for up to 11 years. There's no other organization in the state of New Jersey doing this. But try to explain to people how to fund something that is so, when it was new, we're 9 years in now. They were like, well, we have to see that you're going to be around for 5 years. It was a way different experience. But all we kept seeing were the faces of the children who we were supporting and helping from the very, very first child. And when you see that, even that one child, like I say, if only one person showed up today, it's that one connection. When you see that it matters and makes a difference, you make a difference in one person's life, you've won. That's how I feel.
Well, it was interesting because when I was starting the organization, I had zero business experience. And I knew I wanted to do something in memory of my mom. And I wanted to, as a high school English teacher, I saw what my creative writing students were doing. And so I was like, I'm just going to do this. And the idea of Project Right Now popped into my head. And then people would say to me, what do you know about running a nonprofit? And I'd be like, I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing, but I'm going to go figure it out. I actually have to credit Brookdale because I did your nonprofit management certificate. Although truthfully I didn't finish it, but I did the majority of classes. But even in those spaces, people would be like, what are you doing? You know, and I'm like, no, I'm going to do this. It's almost like a calling. Like you can't stop it, even if you wanted to. So yeah, I agree.
Thanks for sticking with it, because some people might quit when things get hard, but you guys stuck with it, and look where you are today. Amazing.
Oh, and Jodi, I love that it's in memory of your dad. Like that, I didn't know that part.
Like, thank you.
Isn't it just so amazing every day the work you do to keep the memory alive?
So a quick thing on that is my dad, we asked him when he was very, very ill, dying, how will we know you're watching over us? And he said to us something very strange. He goes, you'll see me in all of the smiles. This was years before we started the organization. Then it clicked. We remembered him saying that. And the kids, I mean, when they're doing this work, the smiles are just unbelievable. So, yeah, he's around us. There's lots of smiles when the kids get on the stage.
That's incredible. Terese, you saying something?
So I don't run a nonprofit. I don't have a business right now since I retired from the chamber, but I'm working on a couple of things. But I'm a big volunteer for nonprofits. And I've supported Jodi because I think
100%.
her mission is amazing. So I'm very involved with Jodi's nonprofit. And I love what Jennifer's doing with Project Right Now. But I will tell you, it's because of my son, Chris, who's sitting right there. We did our book launch in January, at the end of January, and he was there. And he went to every single author. It was a book signing after we all read a piece of our chapter. And he spoke to every single author. I mean, every single, author in the book. And he said to me afterwards, you need to get involved with Jennifer's organization. And so I called, we signed up, and he's even more involved than me sometimes, but we went to their event at the Vogel Theater.
Cringe Fest.
Cringe Fest, guys, you gotta go. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun, where they get people to do a live performance on their most cringe-worthy experience in their life. It's hysterical. Next year, be there. And now we're taking writing classes. We're going to their in-person writing classes, on their Zoom writing classes. So I highly recommend, if you even have a little bit of want to write, do it. Call them
Absolutely.
up. They have a lot of great things going on. I'm sure Jennifer will talk more about it.
Thank
the one organization that really changed my life early on, I met at a Women in Business luncheon back in April of 2013. Okay, I went to one Women in Business luncheon, loved the chamber, joined the next month, and the following month in April, her name is Orly Waba, and she ran an organization called Life Vest Inside. Now, I've gone to events, I've gone to meetings, and I've just shown up and then talked to the author, talked to the speaker later. But I was curious enough about our organization to look up, what is this? And I found a video called The Kindness Boomerang. Look it up. She talks about, the video is one take, it's about 5 minutes, where we start with one act of kindness and the ripple effect that goes around. She did this right on Broad Street in Red Bank. Watch the video, and it comes right back around to finally to the person that started it, gets something back. And it's beautiful, and I got teary-eyed over it. Couldn't wait to talk to her. When she was done, I made sure I was the last person to talk with her. And I said, I've lived my life this way. I want to help you. Like, what can I do to help your organization? She said, well, we just did in November, there's something called World Kindness Day on November 13th. She said, we just did our very first worldwide Dance for Kindness. There's no one doing this in New Jersey. Why don't you become a group leader and do a flash mob dance here in New Jersey? I did it for 7 years after that. And I gotta tell you, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. Just the community involvement, it was amazing. The kids were there, we got churches came, we wrote messages in chalk on the street. It's all in my chapter, but kindness is much needed, and people want it. So when you do something like that in the community, it has a profound ripple effect. And then we had to videotape it, and they would take a piece of our video and put it together with the rest of the world's videos. And it was an amazing experience. And I did it for 7 years, and I was so proud of that. But I wasn't in charge of the organization, I just volunteered.
You know, you know, I've a different kind of question for everyone here, because everybody here, me, you, everyone here, there's a book inside us. It's our life story. It's our experience. You know, some folks may have heard the phrase, "What's your dash?" You know,
Yes.
Really, I was in a funeral home, and there's a whole poem about it, whole poem and a story about it. But it's basically, what's your dash? It has a year, a dash, and another year. What happened? You know, was it measurable, impactful to you, yourself, your family, and the world around us? So the words, the book's authors, many folks, when they wrote a book, they don't think of themselves as a writer, an author, a publisher, and all these other different things. So but along the lines of, what is the first step for folks who want to make a difference, and how fireworks don't go off and there's a big sound of music and things. It might be fairly straightforward. You're just moving forward and doing something new. But what is the power of creative expression, the writing process, for folks who already do this? They know, but what does the written word, what's happening like emotionally as you're putting content on paper? Can you talk about that and the value of that for folks?
Absolutely. Well, I think that a lot of people don't think of themselves as writers, or even I was just talking to someone who said, I'm not creative, or I forget exactly how you phrased it. I was like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because it's true. We're born innately creative, curious, imaginative, all of those qualities that are in us. And as we move through life, noise gets in the way, outside external factors get in the way, but it's always inside of us. And I think it just starts with putting pen to paper in whatever way you want to. And maybe you're someone who loves to journal. And I mean, do we have any journalers in the audience here? People who journal? So maybe you did when you were younger, and it starts with just starting to put pen to paper.
Starting tomorrow, we have journalists.
And it can just be a word in a sentence, and then from there it can move to, I want to take a class, I want to be in community. What I love what Jodi did with this project is we felt, even though we weren't writing side by side, we were in community for this project together. So it can start with just a word, and it can move to, I want to take a class. It can move to, now I want to write a book. And for me, you get to write the way you want to write. Like, it's your voice, it's your story, it's your style. So however that comes out, for some it's poetry, for some it's more of a narrative, for some it's an essay, for some it's fiction. I know a lot of people who take their I would argue that probably every novel we read has some element of personal truth and experience in it. So it's just, you get to decide, and that's really what Project Right Now believes in, is that you get to tell your story the way you want to tell your story. And it's never too late. It is never too late. We have people coming in 70, 80 who are writing for the first time, or rewriting, coming back to writing, and it's just there's such a healing power to it. So with writing, it impacts you emotionally because you're processing your feelings. It impacts you mentally because you're getting clarity on your thinking. There's physical benefits, which I could go on and on about all the studies, but I won't. Just Google it. And then for me, it's the spiritual aspect of knowing who you are. That voice inside of you, it gives you access to your true, authentic voice and your true authentic self.
Is it hard for folks to find that voice inside of them? Like, is there a process that you found is effective to get started when they say, you know what, I really like what I heard today. How do I get started in trying to find that voice or amplifying that voice?
I think it's about quieting the noise around you. I think it's about finding spaces. I mean, we can talk about like meditation and the different practices that allow you to get to that space, but and it's just letting it start to come out, and then the more you let it come out, it'll start to flow.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a little bit, we're going to open it up to questions, but let's talk about the book. You buy a book, there's an author, has content and these kinds of things, but this is different. This isn't these are 30 authors, right?
31.
31. I'm in it? I had no idea.
The new one is coming out. We're looking for some.
Wow. So let's talk about the book. Like, this is not just a book. Can you describe it? It's probably a literary work of art. Can you explain what's between those pages so folks understand it? Because it's saying today's the day, live it. Tell us.
Sure. So it's, first of all, I just want to say Tara Kaufman's in the house too, and she is one of the authors too.
Go,
so
Tara!
Tara's here too. And I bring that up because when I started the book, I was looking for those people. So my podcast called Today's the Day, Changemakers. And I was asking people from the podcast to be a part of it, those who are making a change, making a difference in their corner of the world and beyond. But we all do that. When you hold the door open for someone, when you say hello, when you smile, you do not realize that you may be opening a window for someone who feels really bad that day. So when I went around to the different authors, everybody, different people, everybody was kind of open. Certain people were open to it. Tara, I'm going to mention this, because it's in the book anyway, is that she's like, well, I'm not really doing change-making work. And I said, but you are. Everybody's a change maker. It's not one person who has a title. Title doesn't define us if we're the right person for a book or a job. It's not, or to have a conversation with. We've allowed that to happen. So this book really is my journey, the first 2 chapters, leading into, and it ends, the second chapter ends with me leading into how I met everyone. And then they share their journey, their one decision, how they got to the edge of their comfort zone. And they have 2,000 words in some cases. And then there are reflections too. So at the very end of every chapter, I asked, this is where it does get different. I asked each author a question. What does it mean to be a change maker? They reply in there. And then I ask, what does that mean for you as the reader? and then the author asks 2 additional questions to get you to think about something that will drive you. It's not about, reading comprehension of their chapter. It's about to have you go inside yourself and ask questions of yourself. And so that was the incredible journey. Was you could dedicate your chapter. You could, it's your quote. So there's 26 chapters. 3 people wrote 1 chapter. And there's 26 quotes in there. Not from Brene Brown, not from, Simon Sinek, from everyday people who are living every day the best that they can. And so our quotes, they matter. So start thinking about, what is your mantra? What is your quote? What is your go-to that you say all the time? That's a good way to be remembered. This is legacy in my book, and one of our authors just passed away. I interviewed him for our podcast on July 31st, 2025. He passed away June 30th, 2026. The book launched, which is one of the things that he wanted to do. He was so thrilled to be an author. His chapter is chapter 8, if you read the book. And his quote was, "Life is a gravy sandwich." And it was very interesting. And if you read his chapter, you'll understand why he says it. He was an incredible human being, and very, very sad that we lost him. But this is legacy. So this started with fear, and it ended with connection like I can't even begin to tell you. We had a launch in New Jersey, and then we had a launch in California at one of our authors' homes. There were incredible people at that launch, people I never in a million years thought I would ever get to meet, that were just the kindest. And they have, titles and followers and all of those things. But I will tell you something. I was once told I can't be on someone's podcast because I don't have enough Instagram followers. I could care less how many Instagram followers anybody has in this book. You are not defined by all of that. And so this book to me is a way to, and I say that, this book is a way to showcase the true power of connection, a word we throw away and don't realize drives your goals, it drives your outcomes, it drives everything. And that's why I also, my platform is Connection is the Work.
Well said.
I hope so. Sorry, I went on.
Yeah,
I have to say, I've always wanted to be an author. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to start. I didn't know what story to tell. So when Jodi came to me that day in March of 25, I'm like, heck yeah, because I knew I didn't have to do all the work. I just had to write a chapter. So if you have a little bit of wanting to be an author in your heart, she's doing another book next year. So connect with her.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Did you want to share anything else?
No, I loved everything that you just said, and so grateful to be a part of this project. Like, it really, being at that launch event with all these other authors and just having people come up to you and just ask you about your story. It goes back to the power of story and how we feel when we're validated because of our experiences. When someone really listens to you and acknowledges you, like, it really is very special.
And that was the thing. Nobody read a chapter and said, "Ooh, I wonder what is Jennifer's title." Right. It was about her story.
Right. And the beauty of doing a collaborative book like this is there is a story in there for everyone. There might even be a handful of stories in there for everyone because it's so diverse. So.
I'll just mention one other thing is once you get past the first 2 chapters, you can open the book at any chapter. Yeah. Right. You don't have to read it in order, which is nice.
That's great. And we have books in the back, yeah?
We have books in the back on sale
today.
Are
authors signing them today?
We are, if anybody wants us to.
Yes, well, perfect. That's great. So, and we're going to talk about, before we wrap up, the next big thing for all of you, and to share how do folks get in touch with you, Instagram, website, even if you have 1 follower, I'll be the first. But if you have website, social media, or how to reach you and what the next big thing is, and it may be directly rated here. Maybe, I believe there may be other books in the works, to share that before we wrap today. So Jeannie, if we can, we're going to open it up to a few questions, and then we're going to get into the next big thing before we close out. It's going to be it would be a mic drop podcast, except Ming would back charge me for 5 mics, so we can't drop. All right, let's open it up, Jeannie.
So what advice would you give for a prospective writer who finds it challenging to be vulnerable in writing, even if no one's going to read it, just to get in that place mentally where I'm not writing for someone to read, so I can just be honest with myself on paper? Some people might have that obstacle. So what would you advise?
That's a fantastic question. Well, I think it is very personal, and I think some people are more ready than others to be vulnerable on the page. So I think it's important because writing can bring up a lot, that you are making sure that you have support systems in place. So that can look like you have a trusted friend, or perhaps you have some sort of therapeutic practice. But recognizing that for me, with my writers, and I've been teaching a memoir class for going on 12 years, I do say that the most important thing is vulnerability. It's being true and honest in your writing, but I do understand that can be hard for someone, especially just starting out. So just start out. I always say start out small. Just start out. And the other thing that I love to use, which might be accessible, because I think sometimes when you go to journal, you have that idea of like, oh, I got to just pour everything out right now. Poetry. I invite everybody to read poetry. It is so beautiful and meditative, and you can read a poem and then just take a line, a phrase, a word, an idea, and just free write off of it, because it's not going to drop you right into that, oh, I have to go there, into that most vulnerable place right now. It just gives you an invitation to start getting words out and feelings out in a way that that doesn't feel directive. It can almost be surprising, and I do that with a lot of the groups that I work with. We read a poem and we just write inspired by the poem. So that would be a way to start out. But I do want to say that writing can bring up a lot of complex feelings, so do make sure that you have some sort of support system in place. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I always say every day is a gift, especially since I own Outside the Box Gift. And I take that very seriously. The question I have for you ladies, because you're so positive, when you have a day, when you wake up and you are in a funk, like big time, frozen, what's one piece of advice you could give us to get out of that?
Read the book.
Love that answer.
Books. Did you bring books?
Read something positive.
Yes, okay.
I know a lot of us scroll on social media, and it's not always positive. And the more negative you read, the more negative you get fed.
Yes.
So focus on the positive. Look for those inspirational quotes.
Right.
Have something that can lift you up in the morning to kick off your day in a good way. Because we all have
That's
those
great
feelings.
advice, Terese.
Yeah, we all have those feelings.
Yes.
Or if you really can't get out of the funk, call a friend who's positive.
Yeah.
Because they will get you out in a minute.
This is true. Yes,
Okay.
very good advice.
Collaboration.
I also just want to add to that meditation for those who
Meditate.
meditate, exercise. But also, I have a thing that I do with a lot of my clients is, what is your theme song? Like when you are in a good mood, what is your theme song? Find it so that you can use it when you're driving. Like that, I'm having a whole concert in my car when that theme song is on, right? And
That
when
is
you're
awesome.
when you're feeling down, go back to your theme song.
So funny. That was actually going to be my first answer as well, because I always go to music. But I just want to recognize too that some days you just are in a funk. And it is important to recognize, like for me, I don't identify feelings like positive or negative. They're feelings. And sometimes you just have to let yourself feel it and know that you're going to move through it. And then, and then go to that list of like, what are the things I do? Tell me. And of course, I'm going to say write, because if you're in a funk, if you have a question, if you're angry, if you're frustrated, put pen to paper and let it out, because it will move through you.
I love it. And the other thing my mother always told me is fake it till you make it. So I do a lot of that, and everybody thinks I'm like the most positive person in the world, but there are those days.
Well, and I just want to say, Jodi and I were just literally talking about this before we came up here, because I think there is this idea that we're all sitting here and we're smiling and we're positive, and we've got stories of where we are in our lives right now where that is not always how we're feeling. So, behind the scenes, and that's, again, I'm going to go back to writing, because writing can show that complexity of your experiences.
Yes, I have a new journal at home, and I'm going to start today.
And
Thank you.
go to poets.org. Poets.org. Sign up for their poem a day, read their poem, and write off of it.
I love it. Thank you.
I'm going to do that too. I love that. But also connecting, like Terese said, calling a friend, but being in this kind of an atmosphere where it's hard to be so down when you're surrounded by good energy. And when I went to California for our launch there, my feet did not touch the ground during that time. I felt like I was in an out-of-body experience because it was just new surroundings and incredible people. We were just in a really good space. New Jersey was the same.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Sometimes, to your point, we're not in a good space, right? And we can self-propel. And I'm channeling the words of a fine gentleman over there with a nice light blue jacket. There's self-sabotage too, right? I'd like to lean on that fellow right now to tie into this item. If you can share a couple bullet points, because sometimes it's external forces, true, but oftentimes isn't it internal dynamics where it's not others holding us back, we're holding ourselves back. Would you mind just sharing a few moments about self-sabotage, identifying it, and steps to move beyond it to break through some of these items, if that resonates with you, which I think it does.
Thank you. Tara, one of the things is that self-sabotage is just a protection. At that moment in time, you're protecting yourself. That's all it is. And I love what you said. There's no negative or positive. One of the things you can say is just say, it's okay, and then find the benefit of what you're experiencing. Because when you can find the benefit in anything that happened in the past, it'll immediately help you shift and move forward. So you're either in protection or you're either in growth. And at that moment, you're just in protection, you're not broken, you're not a loser, all the other thousands of words we say to ourselves. You're just protecting yourself from the very thing that you want, which is subconsciously more painful to get. And then everything the lady said is to find that support to help you out of it, because when you try to do it yourself and you're in that moment, it's really hard to do.
And doesn't that protection then compound the problem, and you protect yourself further and compound and compound? How do you break that cycle?
Well, it's one of the things that I discovered was that there is the same trait. See, there's nothing for you to be fixed. We're trying to fix. There's nothing there to fix. So what's happening is that your greatest gift and your greatest struggle comes from one trait that you're born with. And once you can understand that trait and shift it, then you go from protection to growth immediately. So there's only one thing to focus on. So basically, just in that moment, knowing that I'm just in protection and it's going to be okay, work with it, and then give yourself grace and the time to get out of it, but with help. That's so important that people miss, that they feel that they're weak if they try and ask for help from somebody that's unconditionally loving you, because if not, they'll be jealous and create another problem, but someone who is just focusing on you and wants to truly help.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Gary? Do a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up.
For the panel, where does your faith in God fit into all this? Because we haven't heard that talked about today.
You want me to go first? So I have... it's interesting. That's a very interesting question. In general, you're talking about it, what...
Yeah, where does God fit into this scenario?
I think that I have multiple beliefs. That's just, what I believe on a personal level. I absolutely believe in God. I believe in the universe. I look at the big picture. I know that there is a calling of some sort, and I have gratitude. And it's actually funny. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of a sit spot. Has anybody ever heard of this? This is where you find... a place that you find that brings you such peace that it calls to you. And one day I was having a bad day, and I just started driving, and I never made a right out of my complex for whatever reason. There's nothing down that way. And I found myself sitting in front of a church. There's a beautiful waterfall. There's trees all around. And I felt so connected there. So I feel like when you're called to things, there's a higher good and a higher reason. And I don't want to say what's right and what's wrong, but I just believe in that power. And so it's listening and being open to listening to what you're being called to do and what's being shared with you.
Thank you.
So when people ask me what's my religion, I say kindness and humanity, because I think that's the basis for everything. But I was raised Roman Catholic. I went to 8 years of Catholic school. And so that's in me. I do believe in a higher power. But then I had, oh my God, I'm going to cry. I had an eye-opening experience because my son is a devotee in Krishna consciousness, which is a whole different religion. And I had to adapt to learn about this, because this is where he lives, and this is what means so much to him, and I wanted to be a part of his world. So religion doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you believe in. It just matters that you are kind, right? And you love people, and you treat people with respect, and you want to learn about different religions, because right now we're in a group called the Great Harmony, and we talk about different beliefs and different religions, and that's eye-opening, because it doesn't matter. We're all human. We're all connected. We are one, right? We are one. And I want to thank Christopher for opening my eyes to start down that path. And I love, of course, proud mama. I love him to pieces. So.
Oh, that was
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I believe so much in people having their own stories and their own beliefs. And I too feel with Project Grinnell especially that it was a calling. I am very spiritual. I believe so much in like the universe, and you call it what you want to call it. But I do, like, I connect with my mom on a daily basis through writing, through journaling. I believe that, you know, I believe we have a whole team of light that guides us. And again, it goes back to just listening and trusting the voice inside of us, the whisper of the voice inside of us, the knowing, and however that manifests for you. But it is so much about kindness and humanity and joy and beauty and nature and love and connection and all the things that, you know, all the stories that come at me. I mean, you read the book and you're going to feel all those things. So, but thank you for that question, because I really appreciate that and appreciate the opportunity to share.
One thing I want to say, and everyone has their own choice of their religion. So what I do if I'm really upset or I have fear, I'm scared, and I taught all of my 4 children this, and it really works. I say 3 Hail Marys, and she never lets me down. Mary's my go-to, and I just wanted to share that because I know everyone has their own religion and faith, and
I think it's about a ritual, right? Of some sort, like your own personal spiritual ritual.
yeah, I believe in her presence, and I feel her, and I've had certain signs over the years. So for me, but I do believe we're all one and we're all connected, and we're here to help. I believe that we're here to help one another, and that's what we're here for. Yeah.
You know, my father years ago was chatting with somebody close to me, and he's, you know, Roman Catholic, St. Catherine's Church every Sunday, of course. You know, my father, growing up, our family, and but the fellow he's chatting with said, I'm not there. It's science. It's simple. It's evolution and all these different things, and so he said to my father, he goes, you know, look, Big Bang Theory. That's it. It's the beginning of the universe. And my father says, and who do you think made that happen? Interesting, right? Different perspectives, different folks. But he was saying, no, it's Big Bang, that's the beginning of the universe. Okay, well, who did that? This person didn't know. You know, but the point is kindness, charity, being good to others, whether Muslim, Jewish, Christian, atheist or otherwise. Common denominators. Treat people civilly. I think that's lost in certain respects, and hopefully that has a resurgence. Be nice to people. Look out for other people, right? Inspire others. Exactly. You know, wherever you stand. You know, I use climate. You know, the environmentalism is another where somebody believes in, you know, climate change or doesn't believe in climate change. Do you not want to recycle? Do you want to turn the lights off? Do you want to, you know, keep things neat and clean, or compost, or all these nice things? So there's so much in common when folks think they don't have much in common. Maybe it's seeking out what's in common a little bit. So we have a better world, right? So thank you for that, and thank you for the questions, and thank you for that insight there with self-sabotage. That's big.
Oh, we have one more question.
We have one more in the back.
All right, thank you. So my question, I'm a big fan of Atomic Habits, if you know that book, and James Clear.
Great book.
And I love a lot of what's in that book about identity, right? And creating the identity of who you want to be. And I want to make sure I got this right, so I'm going to read it. He says, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become, right? So there's this idea that you have to believe that you are that type of person, like being a writer, right? You can say, I am a writer, and you don't have to be good at it. You just have to believe it and take the action to actually do it. So, you know, it's kind of tricking your brain into thinking you are something before you are. So I guess from your perspectives, what are your thoughts on believing that you are something before you are, or like, do you have to go through enough repetitions to get over the kind of imposter syndrome of thinking, okay, yes, I am?
It's a great question.
That's
Great question.
We know this one well. We were talking about this earlier, and it's interesting. So I have a love-hate relationship with fake it till you make it, because when at times I'm like, just fake it till you make it. I didn't know how to be an author. You can do this. You can do this. And I just you keep telling yourself that. But then when something steps in your way, or somebody says an off comment, or something comes up, it gets harder and harder sometimes, and you start feeling burnt out by faking it till you make it eventually, right? So to me, it's a constant inner talk consistently. And because the outside world can be cruel sometimes, unfortunately. And if you have that calling and that belief in something, but yet people are not necessarily on board with you, we all tend to sometimes listen to that, and it stops us in our tracks and paralyzes us at times. So there has to be that inner peace that keeps telling you, nope, there's something here. Now, there was something here. I thought it was going to be a memoir. It's not. There's 31 people involved. So sometimes it transforms. You have to listen to those messages that come to you. It may not look exactly how you want it to look. The messaging you tell yourself, the things you listen to, the things you surround yourself with, the people you surround yourself with, environment is very, very important. And go, like, where do you feel most creative? So if it is about being an author and you're struggling because you're like, I'm not a writer, if this is your creative space, come to Bellworks and write. It's that constant asking yourself different questions and rituals. When you see yourself in your flow and you're out of it, you've got to go back to that space, that environment, the people you surrounded yourself with, just to get yourself back into that flow. And I'm sure you guys have other answers to this as well.
I think for me, just the way I've always operated is I am able to visualize. I am able to see things in my imagination. And I agree with you about the whole fake it till you make it, because I have done that. I did that right after my divorce. My kid, we all got lice. I had a nervous breakdown, and I did fake it till I make it for a couple of weeks. But to your point, then I started to believe it. I really started to see who I wanted to be, and something that it's always a work in progress. I'm still working on this. One of the things that I try to do is imagine like my future self. What would future Jennifer want me to do right now? And sometimes I don't do what future Jennifer wants her to do. I do something completely different, but it is about, I think, I love what you said about creative flow. Like, our creative flow is the place where we were meant to be. And that is where our true voice, our true creativity, our imagination, all the possibilities that we dream for ourselves, it all exists in that space. And the more we can find the ways into that flow, and the more ways we can know that we can go back to that flow when we get off track. Because I'm always off track. Every Monday I'm starting over. But one of the things I just realized is, like, I do start over. I don't give up. So I think that's important.
I love that, because your whole story before was not giving up, because you didn't know what you were doing, but you didn't give up. So having belief and having faith in yourself and the people you surround yourself with, because I totally believe, and this is where I'm headed next, heart-centered collaboration. That's what I want to teach. That's what I want to preach, because that's how we excel, because we're not in this alone. You find the right people to connect with, that you're aligned with, that you can have a common goal and purpose with, and you will excel. So don't isolate yourself, because that'll slow you down. You might have great ideas by yourself, but bounce them off other people and connect. Like, this is all about collaboration, right? Jodi lives working in collaboration. We all do. We're here. We're collaborating right now. So.
And I would just say, if you start hearing the word should in your mind, you got to stop shoulding on yourself, because that's exactly what you're judging yourself. You're judging. If you say it about, oh, I wish they did that, or they should have done that, you have just judged them. And what proactive piece comes out? What productive piece comes out of saying the word should? Nothing.
And I would just say, be thoughtful of the outfit that you wear. What do I mean? If you're in your role, transitions happen. Jobs happen, things change. You're wearing different uniforms. The data that shows that the transitions can be very complicated. Retiring police officer, getting involved in a different career, other different transitions, going from management to production, for example, where even going from running municipalities to brokerage services, where I'm thinking, did I not call people back that much? Like, my God. But as far to your point, where we are and how we're, the roles that we're in, we had when we first started doing these, chatting with somebody saying it was nice to have you as a podcast host. I'm like, the what? You know? Oh, okay, so there we go, podcast host. So we all do different things. The Dash, what are we doing? All those different things. And so we're so thrilled that you were here to share the incredible things that you're doing. And what we'd like to do, thank you everyone for the questions and the input. Can you share with us what's the next big thing for each of you? And how do folks connect with you if they want to be a part of what you're doing and get involved? And lastly, any message that you want to leave people with tonight? Like how do they reach you or this morning? It's still morning, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What message you want to them to leave with today to make an impact for themselves, their families, their business, and the world?
Okay. So I have a couple of different businesses, obviously. So what's next? The podcast, I'm interviewing incredible people. I just interviewed the president of Monmouth University. He was amazing. So thank you. Yes, that was awesome. But that podcast, Today's the Day, Changemakers, that keeps going. We're going to host our International Changemakers Forum in spring of 2027. And Applaud Our Kids is growing. We're funding more children than ever before across the state of New Jersey, but a huge concentration here in Monmouth County. And then Today's the Day, Live It. We're still touring, obviously, but I'm right now securing authors. We're only going to have 20, and they're handpicked. But if anybody's interested, that's going to be called Today is the Day, Own It. It's about owning your life through judgment. It's about owning your life through your own judgment, outside judgment. It's going through the tough decisions. This is the one decision you launched. This is, okay, what happens when it gets tough? How do you stay the course? And maybe you change course because it was tough, but you're working on not judging yourself for it. It's a great way for people to really connect, to stay the course when things get hard. And so I'm looking forward to it. I have from Kenya, California to Kenya, New Jersey, New York involved in the next book. So we're looking for a few more authors. And Connection is the Work. That's my platform. I'm a leadership and connection strategist. And I work with companies as a consultant, working with nonprofits, for-profits, and your goals are there, your projections are there, but if you don't connect to them and you don't connect right in the community, then it's not going to happen. So I'll leave you with this, and this is what I say at the end of every single podcast. Today is the day. You cannot go back to yesterday, and you do not yet own tomorrow. So in the back of the room are bookmarks. It says, "Today I will." And you can say, what is one small or large step you're going to take today to put yourself closer to the goal that you've been putting off?
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
So I just, you can applaud for Jodi. It's okay. So I kind of just told you, I'm trying to figure out my next chapter. Where am I going to go from here? And actually, again, I got to give some credit to my collaborator, Chris, because we're always talking together. And heart-centered collaboration speaks to me. It's what I've been doing my whole life as a member of the Chamber, as the executive director of the Chamber, in every volunteer thing I've ever done in my life. It's all about collaboration and having positive heart-centered collaboration. Because if you're collaborating to gain something, it's not going to work. You got to have heart-centered. Put everyone else first. And things will come back to you tenfold without any expectations, though, right? You got to be authentic and real about it. It'll happen, believe me. I've seen it happen multiple times. So heart-centered collaboration, I don't know what that looks like right now since I'm just developing it right now, but that's the space I want to move into now. So that's next for me.
I love that.
And also, ask how you can help someone. That's a big thing. Just say, how can I help you? And see what comes of it. You'll be pleasantly surprised by how you can help someone and how they in return might be able to help you. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love what you're saying about heart-centered collaboration, because that is the whole, that's the philosophy of Project right now. It's the way we operate. We have tons of classes if you want to get involved. I mean, my message is, you are a writer, you have a story to tell, write your story, live it today, write it today. So I invite you to come be a part of our organization. We do classes for adults online, in person. We have pop-up writing workshops in Red Bank and Asbury Park specifically. We have a beautiful storytelling event on gosh, I'm jumping ahead. August 18th at the Two River Theater, so come be a part of that. And then we're doing our big community celebration October 21st, where you can see the full range of all our programming, from youth to our adults. And we do give back to our community. We work specifically with Red Bank Middle School and Asbury Park High School. We bring creative expressive writing weekly to Red Bank Burbank Middle School students. So come see all of our programs, and there is going to be a space for you to come get involved and to really build community through storytelling. And thank you.
Jodi, Terese, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. Nice round of applause for everyone in the audience and our guests. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. So if you don't mind, can you come up for a quick picture? It'll only take a second. And then our authors will be in the back, and there's still a little bit of coffee left. And their books are there for signatures and collections. Oh, I guess, no, we'll be seated. So and we have Mr. Gelman in the house, and he's going to start giving us some direction, I'll bet, on our photo.